Now, the last thing I wanted to talk about before we start taking some call-ins is a bit of a test and genuine burning desire again. Guys, I can't emphasize enough. How do I do this? Like this, I guess, because it's reversed. Get the book. There's a chapter in my book. And again, you want the second edition. Get the book and read the chapter over and over again on genuine burning desire. You're not going to get it unless you understand and comprehend this concept very clearly. I talk about it a lot. You'll see it in my in-car videos on the Entrepreneurs in Cars channel. You want GBD. Once you have GBD, nothing else is good enough. Nothing. The amount of guys that I have conversations with that are like dating or they're going through the dating phase, and there's women that are just not that responsive to them, right? They're mostly indifferent to them. There's three categories, right? We have women that are detractors, we have women that are indifferent, and we have women that have GBD. They are the promoters. They're the ones that enthusiastically skip into the room when they see you and give a big hug and a giant smile, and everybody else in the room is invisible. That's what you want. That's what you want from a gal. But the vast majority of guys find themselves in a situation where they're engaging with women that are just indifferent about them. Like, they like them, they're interested, they kind of want to get to know them, but they're not the first choice. They're not quite hot enough for them. They're not sure if, they're my person. You hear that a lot too. I'm looking for my person. Okay. If it's not immediate attraction, it ain't GBD. If you're sitting there on the third or fourth date, you're kind of making the moves and you want to get intimate, and she's like, pushing you away. I want to get to know you first. I want to talk some more, sort of thing. And it's like, at that point, you spent like 9-10 hours with her. You've talked a lot. You're taking her out. The bill comes. You pay it like the stud that you are. But she's making you wait. I want to wait. I want to wait a little long. I want to wait 3 months or some shit like that. Did she make the Skittles man wait 3 months for intimacy, or did she give it up for him, a couple hours after they ran into each other? Right? You want a girl that's got genuine burning desire, because everything when it comes to the screening and the testing stuff gets a lot easier. I remember there was a test. I think it was Orion Taraban mentioned this in a video once, where he was talking about asking her for a picture, and this is actually genius. So if you're meeting gals on dating apps, which is where most of you guys are doing this now, because you're not really doing the social game, or you're not really you leveraging social media properly, and you get her off the app. Hey, what's your number? Let's set something up. You get her off the app and you start chatting, something like that, and you line up a date. So if you ask her for a pic, send me a pic. Does she send it? Does she send it with enthusiasm? Does she send you something that she only just took for you, or she only would send to a guy like you that other guys wouldn't get, or she wouldn't even contemplate getting? She doesn't push back. She's agreeable to it. Sends more than one. Asks you after she sends it to you, how's that? Do you want to see more? Kissy face sort of thing, I think was the way that he broke it down. And it's actually genius, because you can separate women that are indifferent about you from the women that have GBD. Because the women that are detractors, they're not going to give you their number. They're not going to talk to you about a date. They're going to want to, I want to talk to you on this app a little bit longer. I want to get to know you or some shit. If you're a hot Chad and you ask a woman for a number, she'll give it to you right away if she really likes you. There's none of this, I got to stranger danger. I got to figure you out, see what you're made of. I want to get to know you a little bit longer. Let's talk over here first. She wants to give you her number. She wants to meet you, because if she doesn't do it, some other chick's going to do it, and she's going to miss out on the opportunity. She knows, because the level of attraction she sees you in is very, very high. So this is actually a very, very good test that he brought up. It's like, just ask her for a pic, right? If she shames you, a real man wouldn't do that. That's not like me. I guarantee you she's done it for other guys. Absolutely guarantee you. She sent sexy pictures, naughty pictures, whatever they happen to be, to other guys. So if she's unwilling to do it for you, you're kind of in an indifferent zone, because she can't afford not to give you something that you want if she's that strongly attracted to you. That's all that it boils down to. again, I go right back to the start. The value and attraction component of all of this to establish genuine burning desire is absolutely key. And women that have GBD are willing to do things that other women aren't willing to do. A woman's level of attraction is easily measured by what she's willing to give you. Simple as that. Hey, babe, my dry cleaning needs to get picked up. I don't have time today. Do you mind stopping by the store and grabbing it for me? Does it with a smile. You need anything else while I'm there? You want me to grab some food to make you for dinner? Perfect. That's a good chick, right? She's willing to enter your frame, do things for you, be useful in your life. It's very respectful. There's no pushback. There's no name calling. A real man wouldn't ask me. I'm not doing that shit for a real man. All that sort of stuff. You just don't deal with it. So again, all of this chaos that dudes invite into their life can mostly be eliminated, can mostly be minimized and avoided in the screening process. Every single one of you guys that deal with a disagreeable, chirpy, annoying, like one of these, like you saw it in the dating phase. You just thought, oh, I can fix her. Or let me play Captain Save-A-Ho. Right? Good luck. How's fixing her going? GBD, man. You can't don't skip the importance of it. Let me grab a couple of calls here and see what we got. T, Jeremy. Okay, let's grab Jeremy over here, and we'll start with that. Jeremy, how you doing, bud?
What's going on, Rich? How you doing? Can you hear me?
Good. What do you got for me?
All right, cool. You might recognize me. I was in your entrepreneurship group. Awesome course, by the way.
Thank you.
Definitely recommend it to everybody. So I know that one of your things in there was talking about different elf businesses, and I recently started my own YouTube channel, talking about something similar in your vein, kind of just helping men help with their physical health, mental health, and things of that nature. I'm doing pretty well. It's been a few months. I recently started getting some haters.
Good.
I guess I touched on some nerves, and I'm like, whatever, I'm just trying to deal with it. But I'm curious, kind of, when you first started off, when you got your first few haters, how'd you go about that? How'd you do
Yeah, I'm happy to answer that and give you some tools. Let me ask you a question though. What are they giving you hate for? What are you saying that's generating it?
I did a video about the MGTOW community, and I guess they
didn't like that.
They all came out with their spears.
Yeah, spears and pitchforks. Yeah. I've said this before. Hate never comes from above you. It often comes from beneath. Nobody ever gets jealous of a loser, right? So,
yeah,
I'm assuming that your MGTOW video probably had something to do with be accountable, take ownership, do the work.
Yeah. I mean, they're just running away from women, and I'm like, that's not really a feasible way to live. You got to learn to deal with women, one up yourself, and and learn.
Yeah. I
I
found that too with a lot of those guys are pretty black-pilled. The ones that are really a man going their own way, they just kind of go their own way quietly and they do their shit and they don't watch videos or look for videos critical of their lifestyle. They just do their thing. But there's always miserable people out there. Most people don't want to do the work. It's easy to commiserate and complain and cry about things. And that's just the way human beings are, right? Humans love being the victim in the chaos that they create. They'll go and make choices about life, like, to use men as an example, because people, oh, you're always beating up on women. Okay, so let's beat up on men a little bit. Men will go out there, have a shitty diet, eat horrible food, become fat, shaped like a pear. They have man tits. They're fat around the waist. They're incompetent. They don't make a lot of money. They're broke. They live in their mother's basement, driving a 25-year-old rust bucket, all of these things, right? It's like, I just want to be loved for myself. I just want to be loved for who I am. And it's like, that's cute, but that's not what women respond to. And I'm going to come along and say, well, that's interesting. You have some work to do. I think you can level up in this area and do that and improve here. And again, all of this is for you. It's not for the broads, it's for you. So go do the work, mate. And it's like, you're just going to run into a contingent of guys that just don't want to do that. And it's easier for them to cry and complain and point at you. The funny thing is they always find like something to insult you for, right? For me, they'd be like, well, you're bald. And it's like, yeah, and I shave my head. I know I'm bald. I'm absolutely certain that I'm fucking bald. It's like, that's what you got, is pointing to an obvious fucking fact. And then they'll go on and say things like, well, all women want is tall, rich, successful guys that drive cool cars. And they'll call me a bald cell or some shit like that. And it's like, dude, who do you think, like, what do you think I do? Like, why do you think it is that women are attracted to me? It's because I'm those fucking things that you get mad about. Okay. It doesn't matter what you do, Jeremy. There's always going to be criticism and hate coming from somewhere. You talk about chemtrails in the sky. You talk about a president. You talk about a political opinion or a conflict in some part of the world. You're always going to draw hate from expressing an opinion. And what I found is a bomber will only get flack when it's over the target. So they only shit on you because you're pretty close to the target or you're on it. And usually the louder the screeching and the complaining and the insulting, the closer you are to the facts. All right, guys, I really hope that you enjoyed that clip. If you want to check out the full-length podcast episode, you can find that right over here. Also, make sure you visit my website over here where you'll find my supplements, the opportunity to book me privately one-on-one for coaching, and most importantly, my new School of Unplugging, which you'll find on the Courses tab. Newer to the channel? Hit subscribe.